Have you ever looked at someone in their 80s still walking, tall, laughing loud, remembering every little detail from 50 years ago and thought, how do they do it? And then maybe you glance at someone else same age, maybe even younger, and they're slowing down, forgetting things, struggling to get up from a chair. Or worse, they're in and out of the hospital and you start to wonder if they're fading before your eyes. It makes you ask a question you can't ignore. What's the real difference? Because it's not luck. And it's not just genes either. There comes a point right around age 75 when your health can start going in one of two directions. For some, it's a steady decline. For others, it's a long, graceful glide into old age, with dignity, energy, and joy. But why? Why does it go so differently for people who seem so similar? Well, what if I told you that after 75, nearly 99% of deaths are tied to just 4 main causes? And here's the twist. Not only are these causes well known, but in many cases they're preventable. Now I know that sounds bold, maybe even a little scary, but here's the good news. Once you know what to look for and what small choices to make, you can avoid these dangers and live out your later years in strength and peace. And if you're thinking it's too late for me, I want you to stop right there, because it's never too late to take control of your health. Whether you're 65, 75, or even 85, what you do today still matters tomorrow. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 4 leading causes of death after 75, and more importantly, how to stay ahead of them. I'll share simple stories, practical advice, and a few insights that might just change how you see aging altogether. And number 3, let's just say it's the one most people never see coming until it's too late. So stick with me. Let's walk this path together. One that leads to clarity, confidence, and maybe even a little more time with the people you love. And hey, if you're over 70 and still pushing forward, or if you're caring for someone, always drop a comment below and type "still going strong." Let's celebrate the strength, the wisdom, and the journey we're all walking. And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Wisdom Insight, because aging may be inevitable, but how we do it, that's in our hands. Let's begin with what many call the silent killer, heart disease. Now I want you to picture this. Harold is 78, a retired teacher, lives with his wife, walks his dog every morning, and even volunteers at the library on weekends. You'd look at him and think he's doing pretty well. But then one day Harold comes in from his usual walk and says, "I don't know why, but I was really winded going up the stairs today." His wife suggests maybe it's the heat, or maybe he didn't sleep well. You know how we do. It's easy to brush things off. A few days go by. He still walks, but now he's slower, taking more breaks, sitting down more often. 2 months later, out of nowhere, Harold collapses in the backyard. It's a heart attack. Now here's the thing, it didn't come out of nowhere. It came from years of quiet buildup. See, after 75, your heart isn't the same as it used to be. Arteries stiffen, plaque. The fatty stuff starts lining the walls of those arteries. Your heart has to work harder just to pump blood through a system that's slowly clogging up, but you don't feel it at first. There's no alarm bell, no flashing light. What you do get are whispers, little signs like tiredness, feeling dizzy when you stand, shortness of breath, climbing a flight of stairs, or just feeling off. And here's one of the biggest misconceptions. Most people think that when something's wrong with the heart, you'll feel it in your chest, a sharp pain pressure, something obvious. But in older adults, that's not always how it shows up. Sometimes it's just fatigue or confusion or a loss of appetite. It can even feel like heartburn. That's why it slips by. That's why so many people miss it until it's too late. Now the good news, you're not powerless. There are steps you can take, and they're simpler than you might think. Start with regular checkups. Know your blood pressure. Keep tabs on your cholesterol and blood sugar. Ask your doctor to run those numbers at least once a year. More if you've got a history of heart issues, and your habits, they matter more than ever. Focus on foods that are gentle on the heart. Oats, leafy greens, berries, salmon, olive oil. Cut back on processed salt. fried foods, and anything that comes in a package with a dozen ingredients you can't pronounce. And move your body. I'm not saying go run a marathon, but 30 minutes a day of gentle movement. A walk around the block, light stretching, even dancing in the kitchen, can work wonders. Your heart is a muscle. It craves oxygen, it wants to work, but it needs your help to stay strong. Because here's the truth. Most heart problems in older adults don't start with a bang, they end with one. And the more you tune into the subtle shifts, the whispers, the better chance you have of catching it. Before it becomes something serious, but while the heart is essential. What if I told you your own brain could quietly be working against you too, not in a way you'd expect? Not with big dramatic changes at first, but with small slips easy to miss until one day, the person you were starts to fade. Let me tell you about Evelyn. She's 81. Lived in the same house for over 40 years, used to host the family dinners. Thanksgiving, Christmas, birthdays, you name it. Sharp as a tack, always the first to remind you of someone's birthday, or how many sugars you like in your coffee. But lately her daughter noticed Evelyn couldn't remember the names of her grandkids. Just a few slips here and there at first. Nothing major, they laughed it off. Oh, Mom's just having a senior moment. Then she started misplacing her medications. One time she forgot to take them for 3 days. Another time she took too many. She also began skipping meals, either forgetting to eat or thinking she already had. It wasn't just forgetfulness anymore. It was something deeper. It was the early stages of dementia. And this is what I call the invisible thief. Because cognitive decline doesn't show up overnight, it creeps in slowly, quietly. It steals little pieces of a person, bits of memory, bits of confidence, bits of independence, until you barely recognize the person standing in front of you. You see, dementia and Alzheimer's don't begin with big dramatic memory loss. They often start with small things, losing track of the day. Trouble finding the right word, repeating a story you just told. And over time it spreads, affecting decision emotions, even physical coordination. The brain is like the conductor of an orchestra, and when it starts to misfire, the whole body begins to play out of tune. But here's what a lot of people get wrong. They think it's all just normal aging. They think forgetting where you put the keys or struggling to remember a conversation from last week is just part of growing old. And yes, some forgetfulness is normal, but when it starts to interfere with daily life, when it affects your safety, your routines, your relationships, that's not just aging, that's something more. And it's worth paying attention to. Now, what can you do? Well, you can't stop aging, but you can protect your brain. Start with stimulation. Crossword puzzles, brain games, reading, learning a new hobby. These things aren't just fun. They actually strengthen the brain's neural pathways. Stay social conversations, laughter connection. These are medicine for the mind. Isolation is one of the biggest accelerators of cognitive decline. So even a phone call, a coffee date, or a short visit with a neighbor can make a real difference. Eat for brain health omega-3 fats. Like those in salmon or walnuts, support brain function. Leafy greens, berries, olive oil. These foods aren't just good for your heart. They're great for your memory too. And most importantly, don't ignore the signs. If you or someone you love starts showing changes, however small, talk to a doctor. Early intervention makes a world of difference. Because the earlier you act, the more control you keep. Cognitive decline is deeply personal. It affects not just memory, but identity, dignity, and independence. But with awareness, support, and proactive care, you can slow it down. You can keep hold of who you are and stay present in the moments that matter most. Now, the mind plays a big role in our health, but there's something even more immediate and often far more dangerous. It doesn't come from within. It comes from the world around us. Falls. Let me tell you about Margaret. She was 84, lively, sharp, independent. She loved tending to her garden, cooking for her grandkids, and watching her favorite detective shows every night. One afternoon she was walking down the hallway headed to the kitchen. Nothing unusual. She caught the corner of a small throw rug, lost her footing, and fell. Just a small fall, just a few seconds. But that moment changed everything. She broke her hip, was rushed to the hospital. At first they said it was a clean break, but recovery at her age is complicated. She was bedridden for days. Then came the pain medication, then the confusion, the appetite loss, the infections, the muscle weakness. She never fully bounced back. Within 6 months, Margaret, once so full of life, couldn't walk without assistance. She lost her independence, and not long after she was gone. Now here's the hard truth. Falls are the leading cause of injury. Related deaths in seniors. Not car accidents, not burns, falls. And after age 75, the risk increases dramatically. Here's why. As we age, our balance becomes more fragile. Not always because of disease, but simply because the systems that keep us steady start to weaken. Our bones get thinner, especially in women, thanks to hormonal changes, and our muscles shrink. A condition called sarcopenia. Even active people lose strength if they're not specifically working to maintain it. So what happens? A simple stumble becomes a serious break. A bruise turns into a pressure sore. A few days in bed can turn into permanent immobility. And when mobility goes, everything else follows. Freedom, confidence, social life, even digestion and lung strength. But here's the part many people don't realize. Falls don't only happen to the very old, the very frail, or those using walkers. They happen to vibrant, active seniors. Like Margaret, because of one small thing they didn't see. A slippery floor, a dim hallway, a loose rug. Shoes that don't grip well, reaching too far for something in the cupboard. It doesn't take much, so what can you do? Start with the environment. Walk through your home and look for danger spots. Remove loose rugs or tape them down. Add grab bars in the bathroom, near the toilet, in the shower. Improve lighting, especially in hallways, stairwells, and corners. Keep clutter off the floor. Make sure your shoes fit well and have non-slip soles. Then think about your body. Are you doing any exercises to keep your legs strong? It doesn't have to be intense. Tai Chi is excellent for balance. Resistance band workouts are gentle but effective. Even standing on one foot while holding a chair can train your body to stabilize. And please don't feel embarrassed about using support. A cane, a walker, handrails. These are tools of strength, not weakness. They say, I value my life too much to risk a fall because one fall can change everything. And here's the thing. Most falls can be prevented. That's the hopeful part. Take the steps now before you need them. Protect your space. Strengthen your body. Stay standing. Stay strong. Stay you. Now there's one more because we need to talk about. It's often overlooked, sometimes dismissed as a normal part of aging, but it quietly affects how well you heal, how you eat, how your immune system works, and even how you feel emotionally. It's not a dramatic fall or a silent disease. It's something far more gradual and far more dangerous than most people realize. Let me tell you about Joseph. He was 79, a retired teacher, still sharp, still active, loved doing crossword puzzles in the morning sun. One winter he caught what seemed like just a mild cold, runny nose, a bit of a cough. Nothing out of the ordinary. His daughter offered to take him to the doctor, but he waved it off. I'll be fine, just need some rest. But over the next few days his cough worsened. Breathing became harder. He lost his appetite. He was admitted to the hospital where they diagnosed pneumonia. And despite every effort, he never left the hospital. It started with a cold. It ended with goodbye. Here's what many people don't realize. After 75, your immune system doesn't fight like it used to. The body's defenses weaken, not just against major illnesses, but even against the small ones. And more than that, there's something happening under the surface in many older adults. Chronic inflammation. Think of it like a slow, steady fire burning inside the body. Not enough to make you feel sick right away, But over time, that fire damages tissues, weakens organs, and sets the stage for disease. Tea fuels conditions like heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis cancer, and even Alzheimer's. Now, most people hear inflammation and think about swollen joints or aches and pains. But inflammation doesn't stop there. It can damage blood vessels, disrupt insulin response, impair healing, and confuse your immune system, causing it to attack healthy cells. And when an infection comes like the flu or even a cold, the body is already exhausted. So instead of bouncing back in a few days, recovery becomes slow, dangerous, even fatal. So what can you do? You can't stop aging, but you can calm the fire. Here's how. Start with what you eat. Anti-inflammatory foods can truly make a difference. Fatty fish like salmon or sardines, walnuts, flax seeds, and chia colorful vegetables, especially leafy greens like spinach or kale berries, rich in antioxidants. Olive oil instead of processed fats. Stay hydrated. It sounds simple, but water helps flush out toxins and supports every organ in your body. Prioritize sleep. Deep rest is when your body repairs itself. Without it, inflammation worsens and immunity drops even lower. And manage stress. Ongoing emotional stress keeps cortisol high, which fuels inflammation like gasoline on a flame. So take that walk. Call a friend, meditate, listen to music, breathe. Also, don't skip your vaccinations. Flu shots, pneumonia vaccines, and now even RSV vaccines can be life-saving. And finally, if you start feeling off, fatigued, achy, feverish, or just not right, don't ignore it. Speak up. Catching infections early, especially at this age, is critical. Because like Joseph, many seniors look perfectly fine until one small thing turns serious fast. But unlike Joseph, you now know what to watch for. So take a deep breath with me. These 4 causes: heart issues, cognitive decline, falls, and chronic inflammation. They're not just random health facts. They're the real reasons why so many lives are cut short after 75. But here's the thing. You're not helpless. Understanding these risks is the first step towards staying ahead of them. And in just a moment, I want to walk with you through the most important emotional takeaway of all this. Because now that you know what's happening, let's talk about what you can do. Let's pause for a moment and really take this in, because this is where it hits home. Watching a loved one decline or feeling it in your own body, it's not just physical, it's emotional, it's scary, it's personal. Maybe you've seen your spouse forget the same conversation 3 times in one day. Maybe you've noticed your father stumble a bit more often, or your sister who used to laugh all the time now sitting in silence, tired and withdrawn. Or maybe it's you. Maybe you've started to feel more tired than usual, a little less steady, a little more forgetful. And deep down you wonder, is this just aging or is something happening to me? That feeling, that quiet worry you carry in your chest, that's real, and it deserves to be acknowledged. Aging isn't just a number. It's a journey, one filled with change, with loss, but also with so much wisdom and strength. And yes, it can feel overwhelming, because how do you fight something that sneaks up so slowly? How do you protect yourself or someone you love when the danger doesn't always look like danger? But here's the truth that so many people don't hear enough. You are not powerless. You see, now that you know the 4 major causes behind most DA, there's after 75 heart issues, cognitive decline, falls, chronic inflammation. You're no longer in the dark. This isn't just about fear. This is about preparedness, because knowledge changes everything. It turns panic into purpose. It turns helplessness into action. It turns silence into conversation. These aren't just medical facts to file away. They are invitations. Invitations to check in on your body, to ask that question at your next doctor's visit, to gently bring up that observation with your spouse, your brother, your mother, to take that walk even when you don't feel like it, to swap out the processed food for something fresher, to reach out. Speak up, make changes, even small ones. You don't have to become a fitness expert. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. But the little things they build up, like choosing stairs instead of the elevator, adding one more vegetable to your plate, calling a friend to laugh and talk instead of watching the evening news alone, or putting a sticky note on the fridge that says, "You're still strong." Keep going. That's the real power here, because you're not just extending years, you're adding life to those years. And if you're caring for someone, if you're the son, the daughter, the spouse, the neighbor, your love matters more than you think. Even your quiet presence can be a lighthouse in their storm. Let me say this clearly: you are not alone. You're not the only one feeling scared or tired or uncertain about what's next, but you're also not the only one willing to fight for a better outcome. You're not the only one who still believes that this part of life can still be filled with meaning. There is so much still ahead. There is laughter to be shared, hugs to be given, sunsets to be watched, memories to be made. You deserve that. Your loved ones do too. So take this knowledge, these 4 truths, and hold them close. Let them guide you. Let them empower you. Let them remind you that even in the face of aging, there is hope, there is help, and there is always room for healing. Because aging doesn't mean giving up. It means showing up stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. And you've already taken the first step. You're here, you're listening, you care. And that means everything. So let's take a moment to bring it all together. To quickly recap, after the age of 75, nearly 99% of deaths are linked to just 4 major causes: heart disease, cognitive decline, falls, and chronic inflammation. But here's the part that truly matters. Each one of these isn't just a threat. It's also an opportunity to notice the signs early, to take small, steady steps to shift the direction of your health or that of someone you love. Because behind every statistic is a person, and behind every person is a story still being written. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these concerns weighs on your mind the most? Is it the fear of memory loss, the worry of a fall? Maybe it's your heart health or the quiet danger of inflammation. Whatever it is, let's talk about it in the comments below. Your voice matters here. Your story could be the one that gives someone else clarity or hope. This channel, Elderly Wisdom Insight, exists for one reason: to make aging less confusing, less scary, and a lot more empowering. So if this video gave you some clarity, if it brought you a moment of comfort, if it helped you feel a little less alone, please consider subscribing. It's free, it's easy, and it ensures you won't miss out on future videos filled with insight, support, and real solutions. We're building something meaningful here, a community of people who care deeply about aging, well, about protecting those we love, and about living these later years with dignity, strength, and purpose. So go ahead and tap that subscribe button. Click the like if this resonated with you, and don't be shy. Drop a comment. Even just a "still going strong" lets us know you're here and you're walking this path with us. And now, as we close, thank you truly for being here today. Thank you for listening, for learning, for caring. Wherever you are in life, whether you're aging gracefully or supporting someone who is, know this: you are seen, you are valued, and you are stronger than you think. Until next time, stay informed, stay compassionate, and most of all, stay strong. I'll see you in the next video.